Assalamualaikum. My name is Aslinda Binti Omar. I'll present on introduction. According to the World Health Organization, COVID-19 vaccines are very effective. COVID-19 infection has a much greater chance of causing serious illness or death than having a bad reaction to a vaccine. WHO strongly recommend that people who work in healthcare, the elderly and people with medical condition get the COVID-19 vaccine. This group are more likely to get infection. In New Zealand, a policy has been put out in place for most people who work in the health and education field. It is important for everyone who works in frontline health to get a vaccine by the start of December in 2021. This includes doctors, nurses, and other people who work in the front line. Those who work for the government say there is no real risk of vaccination program as they prepare to live with COVID-19 while the vaccine is still being studied. Also, there are some people who don't want to get a vaccine which led them to lose their job that cause human rights issues. The coronavirus disease and vaccine in 2019 caused a lot of debate around the world about whether or not to accept them. This is because of different vaccination policies and restrictions which has led them to some people being discriminated against for not getting the vaccine. During this research, I learned about a factor that made people resistant or unsure about getting a COVID-19 vaccine in an international business setting, as well as the managerial or commercial action that people took to encourage people to accept the vaccine. That's all.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muntasir Binti Abdullah. My matric number BB191103442. I will present the causes of not vaccination in the context of issues in international business in New Zealand. To limit the spread of COVID-19, protect New Zealand and keep each other safe, employer and employees must work together. There are reasons workers in New Zealand don't want vaccine, as social media is flooded with fake news that vaccine can kill. People who reject, doubt, and anti-vaccine belong to a group known as vaccine skeptics. According to the study, the group inciting and rejecting the vaccine is small, which is less than 5%. However, they have been very vocal about their stance on a COVID-19 vaccine. Next, anti-vaccine groups like to post comment on popular websites that could raise questions from the public. This has caused fears among locals and workers to get vaccinated for fear of the impact of contagious news coverage. Therefore, employers who care about employees as a person by correcting their misconception about fake news and having health agency representatives explain the function and benefits of vaccine in fighting the COVID-19 virus. Lastly, the reason employees are reluctant to get vaccinated is also because of the influence of peers or family members. Therefore, the rise in cases in the country is due to workers and community reluctance to get vaccinated. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Amalin Aishah Binti Zahari. My number matric BB1911016. I will continue present about effect not vaccine of contact in international business. The impact of foreign business concern of employees not being vaccinated could lead to a reduction in international trade problem economy. According to World Bank 2020, there is also evidence that delays and vaccination can exacerbate inequalities within and between countries, and COVID-19 estimated to have pushed an additional 150 million people into extreme poverty. After the lockdown, many organizations had to lay off some of their staff due to employee payroll financing. Compared with the peak incident rate before vaccination, the majority and illness in New Zealand at the beginning of the 21st century have shown a reduction of more than 90% in incidence by 2070.
For the manager action or decision, the government of New Zealand used the COVID-19 vaccine as the first method. COVID-19 immunization is necessary for workers in New Zealand. The government has ordered that work be done by persons who have been vaccinated in particular sectors or business types. If a risk assessment finds that vaccination is necessary for health and safety, businesses can decide whether a given job in their workplace require immunization outside of government vaccination rules. This may occur when employee management provides service to a third party As a result, a company may need to take into account who of its employees interact with the third party depending on their vaccination status. Manager may also restructure their operations to guarantee that staff allocated to interact with the third party have been vaccinated. Moreover, supporting employees to get vaccinated, Government of New Zealand are taking a serious look at this issue. Additionally, encouraging workers to be immunized, New Zealand's government is treating this matter seriously. It is critical to communicate early, openly and honestly. Vaccination requirement in the workplace should be discussed early and openly among employees and their representatives. The responsibility of good faith in employment context as well as the consultation responsibility of the Health and Safety at Work Act apply to all workers, not only employees. Employer must be open and communicative with their workers, and they must respond quickly and professionally to concerns raised by employees such as vaccination-related difficulties.
Assalamualaikum Doctor, I'm Nursyahfika Binti Yaman. I'm going to continue the manager action decision. In New Zealand, employers may take action if the employee refuses to get vaccinated. Employers should be fair and reasonable in their vaccine interactions with their workers and go through processes with them in good faith before making a decision. Employers should provide employees a sufficient amount of time to determine whether or not they will get vaccinated if specific tasks need it. If an employee is unable to work during this period, special paid leave should be considered, particularly in the near term while employers and workers negotiate the next step. Then, even after all the efforts of the New Zealand government, some employees refuse to be vaccinated. Workers who refuse to take the COVID-19 vaccination will most likely have their contracts terminated without pay. The management will need to undertake a health and safety evaluation to see whether their jobs put their workers at danger of catching COVID-19. Before dismissing an employee, the manager should look into redeployment opportunities. Thank you.
Okay, now we will move to recommendation. In my opinion, vaccine appear to be continuing sources of concern and attention. More firms will explore for methods to incorporate human rights into their operation as this trend continues. However, more work is required to develop and strengthen the tools that corporations require to fully handle human rights. The process of incorporating human rights into corporate management begins here. In the face of great ambiguity, I propose 4 solutions. First, promoting government transparency on vaccination activity and aim. Second, keep supply chains running, notable in distribution and pharmaceutical. Furthermore, government assistance should now serve the public interest, not powerful politicians, in order to avoid future injustice. Fourth is international organizations should work together to gain people trust. For example, the OECD is working with other international organizations to ensure that government receives timely and reliable data and to help countries make appropriate decisions about vaccination programs.
To sum up, New Zealand has established policy for public health sector. This is because employers have to get vaccinated to go to work. Second, employees must keep their personnel vaccinated to continue the business. This is because employees tend to interact with the customers, so to have a safety, they should get their vaccinated. And then there's some reason why people don't want to take a vaccine. It is because in social media there's a lot of fake news and anti-vaccine. Furthermore, there's impact of workers not being vaccinated, such as the case tend to flooded. And lastly, we can use several methods to encourage employers to take vaccines. Thank you.